Timing is important, but again, coming back to that pyramid, we want to make sure we've got the other things on point. My main thing with timing comes to how you space your meals throughout the day, okay? And there's no magic in terms of it speeding up or slowing down your metabolism or increasing your fat burning or anything like that. What can happen though is if you don't eat for 5 or 6 hours, surprise, you get really hungry, okay? When you're really hungry, it's very hard to drive past McDonald's, okay? It's much easier to drive into McDonald's. So instead of spacing my meals every 6 hours, if I'm spacing them every 3 to 4 hours, I'm never too far away from food, right? I've either ate a couple of hours ago or I'm eating again in a couple of hours. And knowing that and being in that situation is much easier to stay on track, okay? And so that is why I would absolutely recommend sticking to a bit of a meal pattern, if you haven't tried this before, of breakfast, snack, lunch, snack, dinner. Particularly that afternoon snack, because we all know about the 5 p.m. cheese and biscuits, right? Or, pick your poison. It's all generally cheese and biscuits. If you have a afternoon tea that has some protein and fiber at around 3 o'clock, all of a sudden, those cheese and biscuits aren't calling your name at 5 o'clock, okay? Where we cook dinner and we're good to go. And it's that kind of situation where we get into the thought of, I'm trying to lose weight, I need to eat less, / I need to eat as little as possible, so why would I snack, right? I'm gonna try and push through till dinner. But if I can get you to eat 200 calories at 3 p.m., I can stop you eating 800 calories at 5 p.m. That's a good deal. Take that deal, okay? So that's a really important component of meal timing, is looking at it to keep that hunger at a controllable level, okay? The one other thing that we need to consider with meal timing is eating before we train, okay? Now, please hold all hate mail to the end of this slide, because I don't care that you train at 5 a.m. and you're not hungry and you don't feel like eating. I got to do it too. Training fasted increases your risk of losing muscle, and it decreases your ability to perform. It decreases the energy that you've got to put into that session, okay? It doesn't have any benefits for fat loss. So basically what we've got by training fasted is we have potential bad things, negatives. Come on, Jono, be an adult. Potential negatives and no positives. If we have a small snack before we train, we have increased energy to perform harder and push harder, do more reps, do more work, get fitter, get stronger. We also have a reduced risk of losing muscle, and we burn the same amount of fat. So we've got no negatives and a couple of positives. So training with something in your stomach is vital as far as I'm concerned. Now, the best thing that you can have before you train is a small carbohydrate-rich snack, because I totally understand that people don't want to come have 2 cups of oats and then push a sled, right? Like, you'll see your oats again. So instead, what we want is something small and light that is not going to sit in your stomach. So some of my favorites are like a small banana, okay? Little cup of fruit juice, 2 rice cakes and honey, okay? Something small, like no one eats a small banana and is like, oh, I'm so full, okay? We just want that little bump of energy. And we want it to be carbohydrate, because carbohydrate is your body's preferred source of fuel in that training session, okay? So by giving it some fuel before that training, you're primed and you're ready to go, okay? I have lost track of the amount of clients who have pushed back at me on this, and I've been like, just do it for a week. And by about Thursday of the next week, I get an email of like, you were right. I have my training, I've PB'd everything. I've never trained this well before, okay? So if you've never done it, please give me 2 weeks of it, and I reckon I want an email, all right?
5 o'clock or 9 o'clock?
So the goal is the goal is 30 to 60 minutes before that training session, have one of those options. Now, if you're training at 5, I'm not asking you to get up earlier to do that. In that situation, as soon as you can, okay? Those options that I mentioned are going to be digested and absorbed super quickly. So even if you eat it walking into the gym, I mean, you could eat it in the car, all right? We could at least do that. But even if you can get 10, 15 minutes before your training session, that's going to be beneficial, okay? If you're training later in the day and you've eaten within the last 2 hours, so you've had an afternoon tea, you've had lunch or something, don't worry about that. You're fine. You're good to go. This is probably more for those early morning training sessions. So like I was here at 6 this morning. I had, well, actually because it's Easter, so I had a hot cross bun before I trained, because tis the season. But, you know, you got to make sure that you get something in that tank before that training session because it adds up.
What if you have that high-carb meal the night before and you're just not hungry when you wake up?
It's better than nothing. But so my option in that is fruit juice because I feel like no matter how hungry you are, we can have, and it's not much. It's like 200 mils of fruit juice. So liquid calories is better in that situation. Yeah.
People that have never eaten before, because I just think this makes me feel sick.
Well, I expect to hear from you in 7 to 10 days. But yeah, start small, start light, you know, half a banana, a mouthful of orange juice, but that kind of, it does give you that extra energy.
And your body gets used to having it as well.
Yeah. And a funny kind of mental thing happens eventually is because you kind of have that same banana at 5 a.m., what happens is a banana at 5 a.m. is and your body's kind of like, I'm training now. Like I've had my training food. Like you kind of wake up a little bit more.